Good morning, everyone. Today's Thursday, April 17th. I hope you all have been enjoying learning about our African elephants. One of the things that I learned that really stuck out to me that I remember is that they're the largest animals on land, and I thought that was pretty cool because I didn't realize that elephants were the largest land animals. And we do have to remember that keyword land because there are creatures that live in our waters, in the oceans, that are definitely bigger than elephants. So I challenge you to find out what the actual largest living animal or mammal on Earth is, and then also to find out what the largest living creature in the ocean is. So and then if you can just shoot me an email or put it on Google Classroom, it'd be interesting to know the answers to those things. So that's what reading can do for us is as we're researching and we're building background knowledge. And today we're actually going to do some preview / pre-reading of our book all about African elephants. So you're going to need to locate that in your take-home bag. But what reading can do for us is, and as like I said, we're building background knowledge and we're going to preview today, is it opens your mind up to other questions that maybe you'd like to research and just learn more about. So one strategy that good readers use is after doing research and previewing the topic they're going to be reading about is they start to formulate questions, things they wonder about, either about the topic or maybe even an extension of that topic. So that's kind of what we're looking for today. So today, this is a nonfiction text, or also called an expository piece of writing. And today we're going to preview this reading. So when we preview a nonfiction text, we're looking at certain text features such as the title of the book, pictures. We also look at headings, diagrams, again, pictures, other diagrams, any bolded words that the author might have bolded to draw our attention to. Sometimes there's a table of contents at the beginning of the book. In this instant, there's not, but that's another text feature you could pay attention to. Again, our heading, which kind of tells us maybe what we're going to be reading about in this section. Again, we have some more pictures. Sorry, they're not in color. Some more pictures. I see another heading here. And then I also see at the end, there's more elephant facts. And then there's also a glossary for some of these words here that are also found in your reading. And so some other text features you might look at are some captions. I didn't see any in here, but the little box that tells you what the picture is about, bolded words, again, the table of contents, paying attention to all the different graphs, maybe a little text box that the author might have on the side that gives you extra information or a fun fact. So what you're going to do today is we're going to do kind of a walkthrough and a pre-read of this book. And then what I'm asking you to do is on the inside cover right here is where you're going to write two things that you learned and one thing you wonder. So we talked about that when readers are previewing it and researching that. One thing that happens is that you get these questions about what you're reading or the topic. And so that's something that you're going to do right here. So you can do that right on the inside of your book. And then then you can take a picture of it and send it to me on Google Classroom, or you can send it to me in my email. And I will put those directions on Google Classroom too, along with my email. And then for Tuesday, you were asked to, and I just wanted to show you this is where I was talking about, you were asked to do some research and watch some videos and go on a couple websites that I had for you on Google Classroom, and then you were to write 5 things you learned, so 5 facts about elephants, and then 2 things that you found really interesting or that made you kind of go, wow, or oh, that's really cool. So 2 of those things, and this is where you can write those. Okay, so as we're looking at the preview, I already see all about African elephants. So I know, and I see the beautiful picture of these two elephants here. So I know that this is going to be about elephants and African elephants in particular. So I'm thinking that the reason they're called African elephants is because they live in Africa. So I wonder if that's correct and if they're going to tell me this in the book. So again, kind of the cover page, title page, all about African elephants. And again, another great picture of that African elephant. If I go to the first page, I see introduction. Usually, and we've learned that in an introduction, the author kind of basically introduces you to the topic and might give you some general information. So in this case, maybe just some general information about elephants. And as I look at this picture, I see that that's kind of what's happening here. The author has labeled the different body parts on an elephant. So we have the tusks. So these things sticking out, if you didn't know, are called tusks. And I learned that those are like kind of like the elephant's teeth. We have the trunk, of course, big ears, this wrinkly skin, and then the big feet. So we've learned that African elephants have tusks, and they also have really big ears. And we haven't even read yet. We're just kind of doing a preview. So again, our heading, which is a text feature, and then we have a diagram here that's labeled. So that's another text feature. If I keep going in my book, I see this great map over here, and this is a map of Africa. And if I look at the key, it shows me that that light gray color is where African elephants live. So now I have answered my question, yes, African elephants live in Africa. And now if I look at the diagram, I can see that they kind of live like sort of like in the center, which we call Central Africa, and kind of maybe down towards the south a little bit. So I would probably say that they're found mostly in Central Africa. Again, haven't read any of the words in the book, but I've already learned a couple things. Here I'm going to focus on my heading, or some people call it, or it's also called a subtitle or a subheading, all meaning the same thing. I see that it says an elephant's body, and I'm already seeing that they're showing me a close-up of that elephant's trunk, and then also showing me maybe how it uses its trunk. So it looks like it's in the water, maybe spraying water out of its trunk and giving itself a bath. So I'm predicting that in this section that we're going to learn maybe all about elephants' body parts and maybe what they use those parts for. So if I continue, I see that they're showing me two pictures of the elephant, and here it kind of looks like maybe they're focusing on those tusks, and maybe hopefully it's going to tell me a little bit about what the African elephant uses those tusks for. And then here I see this picture, big beautiful picture, these big huge ears. So I know that they have long pointy tusks. I know that they have a trunk, and they use that trunk to spray water on themselves. And I also know that they have these big, huge ears. So I wonder what they use those ears for, like when they're flapping, what does that flapping do for them? Or maybe how far away can they hear? Because you'd think with these big, huge ears, you'd be able to hear really, really well. So that's another question I have. Moving on. Ooh. Here I see the elephant using his trunk in a different way, and it looks like he's spraying dust on himself. Or dirt. It's kind of odd. It was just washing off before giving himself a bath, and now he's dirtying up again by spraying dust and dirt on himself. I wonder why African elephants do that. And then here I see the big feet that they were talking about in the diagram at the beginning. It looks like maybe they have I don't know, is that like toenails? Or is that like a soft pad that they have on the bottom of their feet? Hopefully from reading, I'll be able to know maybe a little bit more about that. And then I have my next heading, which says An Elephant's Life. So I'm thinking if they're telling me about an elephant's life, thinking maybe how long they live, maybe what they do every day in their everyday life. So hopefully that's some information that I'm going to learn about here. I also see these trunks seem to be pretty useful to this elephant. Now it looks like it's using it to grab maybe some food or a branch. And if I look closely at this picture, I can almost see like his mouth is open. So I'm wondering, do they use also their trunk, that sound, to communicate with other elephants? And just like wolves, do howls mean different things, different sounding howls. I wonder if the elephants, their sound, if different sounds or how loud it is means different things to the elephant, and that's how they communicate. Here it looks like a mommy or daddy elephant with their babies. And it looks like they're, another use. It looks like maybe they're digging in the mud with their snout or maybe getting a drink of water. So again, another use that the elephants have for this trunk. Isn't that cute? A little baby elephant looks like it's playing. There's again those big ears. And then I see the more elephant facts. So maybe just a few, maybe more fun facts the author included about elephants. And then our glossary, which gives us some vocabulary words and then what those words mean. Back to more elephant or more facts. A lot of times in a nonfiction book, an author will add in that text feature of just more fun facts or other facts for the reader to know. So as you're taking a look at different nonfiction books, pay attention to that text feature. Okay, so we did a preview together. What I would like you to do now is, in the front cover of your book, I want you to write 2 things you learned from our preview today. So this includes extra things outside of the videos and the National Geographic sites you guys went on Monday and Tuesday. So some new information that you learned just from our preview. And then one thing you wonder, so a question. So one thing I learned is that elephants use their trunk to spray dirt on themselves. And from that fact that I learned, I have a wonder. And I wonder why they do that. So that's an example of something you could use as one of your things you learned, and then maybe think about a question you have about what you've learned. Okay, so that is for today. You can submit that work, take a picture, email me. If you're unable to take a picture and send it to me, you can always type your answers into an email and send that to me as well, or type me a message on Google Classroom and type in your answers, write in a message. That's also sufficient. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you guys back again next week.